What happened on these marches is unimaginable. The police did not expect such a large number of people to come. Starmer, along with the Labour Party, really got nervous. Due to the lack of personnel in the police, they faced difficulties as usual. Let's figure out what happened there. We're starting to look. Earlier, Tommy Robinson was prisoned for 13 months for contempt of court, and this decision caused a storm of emotions. At the very beginning of the trial, a strict ban was imposed on the coverage of his case, and the media were deprived of the opportunity to report on his arrest. But after numerous complaints from journalists and social media users, this oppressive ban was lifted, and the truth was able to come to light. Among those who came to Robinson's defense was Donald Trump's son. During the broadcast, which lasted about an hour and attracted the attention of more than 255,000 viewers, Robinson commented on how the participants in the process entered the hall. Despite his persistent calls for the video to be widely distributed on the internet, the court still found him guilty of contempt of the judiciary. His organization declares its mission the fight against the Islamization of Britain. They organize demonstrations and street actions against the opening of new mosques.
Judge, can you stay back? Just stay back a couple of metres, please.
A powerful counter-demonstration broke out in London under the slogan "Stand Up to Racism," which gathered people full of determination and passion. At the same time, an action was held by the United Friends and Families movement, which defends the rights and interests of families who lost their loved ones due to police violence and those who tragically died after being detained.
It's important for me, I think, because of our culture and the way things are going at the moment. You know, we've got a government that just don't care about us.
There's people coming in, get everything for free. They've taken away our pension and heating. And it's just not fair. Honestly, got no problem with immigrants, but illegal immigrants are.
Uncontrolled migration threatens our national security. A government that constantly insults people concerned about this serious problem is really stupid. It's unreasonable. We can no longer remain indifferent and allow migrants to come to the UK with impunity, violating our laws instead of integrating into our society. I am not against migration as such. It can enrich our country, but uncontrolled migration without assimilation is simply absurd. We must protect our values and create conditions for mutual understanding and unity.
You know, if you come out for a march or whatever, they call you far right, you know, and it's all wrong. I mean, we're not far right, we're just normal British people.
More and more it seems that people with these obnoxious far-right views are feeling free to speak up, to take it out on people, and this is our chance to say we disagree with that.
I try and make them understand that the problems they're seeing in our society, the problems they are tying to people of colour and to people who are coming here from elsewhere, they're not caused by them, they're caused by a concentration of wealth at the top.
Freedom of speech is on the verge of extinction. Today you can be sent to jail for any statement that does not please Starmer. There is no real freedom or democracy without freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is not just a right, it is the foundation of our civilized society. We have every right to disagree, to criticize the authorities, to ask questions about ideologies and religions. I sincerely believe that immigration has destroyed England. It can be seen with the naked eye. We must be able to openly discuss these issues, and no one should persecute us for this.
Parliament. Our reporter Shivani Sharma is on the scene. Shivani, what is going on?
Well, Ali, they've now arrived at Parliament Square. Stephen Yaxley-Lennon, Tommy Robinson, as he's better known, might not be physically present here today at the protest, but that hasn't deterred thousands of his supporters from turning up to this protest organised in his name. Slow marching to Parliament, where speakers and performers are starting to take to the stage. Protesters draped in St George's flags and Union Jack flags with a real mix of signs I can see. Placards of "Bring Back Rwanda, Make Britain Great Again, Lest We Forget" written across them. Lots Lots of chants too of stop the boats and chants calling for Robinson to be free.
People shouted insults at Starmer and demanded the immediate release of Tommy Robinson. When the Prime Minister appeared on the screen in Robinson's recorded video message, loud shouts of traitor, whistling and obscene language filled with anger and discontent were heard. Robinson's supporters, full of determination, marched from Victoria Station to the south side of Whitehall, their voices merging into a single chorus of protest. As a result, 2 people were arrested, one for racially disrupting public order, and the other for violating the terms of the Public Order Act. Thousands of people came out from under Victoria Station, chanting furiously, "We want Starmer gone." Demonstrators enthusiastically waved flags, among which were flags with the inscription "Make America Great Again" in support of Donald Trump. Some carried posters with Robinson's image, pleading for his release and calling him a political prisoner. Slogans such as "Take Back Rwanda" and "Stop the Boats" rang out in the crowd, reflecting the anger and concern of those gathered. Some demonstrators wore badges reading "I am Peter Lynch" in memory of a 61-year-old man who tragically died in prison after being arrested for insulting police outside a hotel where asylum seekers were staying. Others held flags with the words "Rest in Peace, Peter Lynch." A video recording of Robinson complaining about the so-called 2-tier police system was shown to the crowd, heightening tension and emphasizing the importance of their struggle.
People marching over their grievances with the Prime Minister and how the riots were held and handled over the summer, the fact that lots of people are still imprisoned because of them. But Robinson has told protesters here to be peaceful, a message which has been reiterated by one of the organisers, Liam Tufts, who's also here today.
And I'm just going to keep encouraging people to stay calm, don't react to the provocation, because that will be taking place. There's going to be people purposely placed in disguise to get a reaction, and the name of the game is to be the bigger person.
Starmer is to blame for the record number of migrants crossing the border. It was with this bitter and disturbing problem that the Robinson clan protested. Our Prime Minister seems to have completely forgotten about his citizens. How can he allocate millions to help Africa while his own people are suffering and in need of support? This is simply unacceptable. A huge number of police vans and officers were deployed at the protests. But fortunately, due to the peaceful nature of the action, police intervention turned out to be minimal, which gave people the opportunity to freely express their feelings and opinions. However, Robinson is accused of contempt of court after he dared to show the film at a protest in central London in July. On Friday, he went to Folkestone police station, where he was charged separately with failing to provide the police with his phone's PIN code.
Now, we have no evidence that there is anyone stationed in disguise to provoke violence, but the Met Police is preparing for all possible eventualities, especially with a counter-protest taking place just a few metres away. There's a clear visible presence of the police today. They're working with the British Transport Police and other forces outside of London. I'm looking at some roads that have been cordoned off by the police, lots of visibility amongst officers as well. They've said their aim is to keep the different protests apart, conscious, of course, of wanting to avoid the kinds of outbreaks of violence that we saw during those summer riots.
Tommy Robinson called for this protest to speak out against Starmer. Several thousand of his loyal supporters gathered at the demonstration called "Unite the Kingdom," ready to defend their rights and their country. But Robinson was arrested. More than 1,000 police officers kept order at the protests. Latvian activist Liana Langa could not stand aside and defended Robinson, saying, unfortunately, the organizer of the demonstration was arrested. This is the result of left-wing liberalism in the UK. One of the greatest patriots will be arrested in the country. This leads to socio-political disappointment at the state level. The police simply follow the instructions of the authorities without thinking about the consequences. These words reflect the anger and frustration of many people who cannot put up with what is happening in the country. What do you think about this video? Share your thoughts in the comments. See you.